Hi everyone, I'm Gautam aka the Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video we're going to be talking about what law of attraction is compared to law of assumption. And before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching, so I offer hourly, monthly, email and DM coaching. The link will be in the description down below for an FAQ page where you guys will have all the answers you need. And thereafter you guys can reach out to me via Instagram or email for pricing options and to figure out what plan may be suitable for you. I also have a Facebook group where I upload resources from time to time, as well as you guys can ask me questions anonymously if you wish to do so. Keep in mind, when you do request to enter the group, you will be asked 2 questions, and also you will be asked to agree to the group rules. Be sure to do it, guys, otherwise my admins will decline you with feedback to do the exact same thing. So just do it, save yourself the time. I also have a mailing list where I will upload articles from time to time, as well as my latest offers for coaching. And last but not least, I have my Manifesto Sp Course up and running. This is for people, if you can't get a one-on-one coaching with me, or if you think you are, good enough, to like, if you are well enough to actually like go and like, manifest your SP, but you just require like certain knowledge here and there, and if you feel like you just need the aid there as well, like, this is really a great course for you guys. The advantage of this course is that it really offers quizzes, and it kind of really like tests you, like what are the things that you are learning, right? Like, you want to make sure that you are absorbing the information. And also on top of that, you guys have worksheets to do, as well as you guys have videos where I go into depth, where I explain things about techniques and so on. And I'm going to be updating the course as time goes by, and if you buy it now, you will get those updates for free. So guys, be sure to check that out, and without further ado, let's get to it. So this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while now, right? Law of attraction or law of assumption, and what's really the difference, right? And even before I kind of begin, right, I just wanted to say this: like, this is not a why law of attraction sucks or why law of assumption is better kind of video here, because here's the thing: like, the truth of the matter is that during my manifestation journey, I began with the law of attraction, really, right? So the story for me was, my mom was actually listening to the secret video. It was in Tamil, actually, right, my mother tongue language. And I remember this phrase from one of the speakers from the video, John Ashraf, right? He was saying something along the lines of, it wasn't a similar house, it was the exact same house that I wanted. And I was always like, into buying large mansions, and like, I'm always like into that kind of like, business, financial freedom, those kinds of stuff, right? So that kind of attracted me. I was like, okay, what are you watching and everything? And then my mom goes on to explain that, and I kind of like went in my own direction with that, of course. I read the law, the secret, and I really started to learn about the law of attraction. Started to look into teachers like Bob Proctor and so on, right? And really, that's how I kind of got my beginnings, basically. So I wouldn't like discount any of the things that I learned from the law of attraction. And over the years, so from 2016 to 2018, I was kind of applying the law here and there, but I was like getting like very mixed results. Actually, to be honest, it was more failures than successes, if I'm being honest with you guys. And I wasn't really sure like what was I doing wrong, because those were some of my darkest years, right? If you know me personally, like, you will know, like, and I'll cover that in another video. But 2016 to 2018, man, like, that was something, right? So it was like towards the end of 2019, and from there onwards, like, things started to kind of like look up. Like, there were some hiccups here and there for sure, but I kind of started to get the momentum of like, okay, how manifesting works. And I remember in 2019 specifically, I decided to kind of like, not say take a break, but I wasn't really watching a lot of videos because I was serving my national service in the army. And I didn't really have the time to like sit down and watch a lot of videos. So I really had to like apply, my own like manifesting principles, and I kind of like use this time to experiment a lot as well, right? So this was something that I did, and that's when I kind of started to hone in on manifesting techniques. And around September 2020, was when, like, or actually it was way before that. I think it was like June or July 2020 was when I started to look into law of assumption and Neville Goddard, and And to me, law of assumption resonated with me more. It really seemed to simplify things for me. And the moment I heard Neville, it was just like, oh my god, it was amazing. Like, I can't even, that moment. I think I was listening to the story about the girl sailing to Samoa, right? And I remember just having like tears in my eyes because I was really in like a very unfavorable state of mind. And I remember hearing that video, and it really resonated with me for two reasons, right? Because it was very simple, and also the way he spoke about it, and it really boiled down to the human imagination, right? And I always saw law of attraction, kind of like going around in circles, but like not getting to the point of things sometimes, right? And I've kind of found that like low key frustrating, and I try to make sense of it, right? So during my sort of like I would say like a break from law of attraction, and I was trying to apply my own manifesting principles. I realized, like, when I look back, I was applying it from a law of assumption perspective more than a law of attraction perspective, even without knowing it, right? So many of you out there may be actually applying law of assumption principles, thinking that it's law of attraction actually. And I will be explaining like what are the key differences, but I just wanted to point that out really quickly as well, because I realized, like, much later in my manifestation journey, that wait a minute, I was actually doing it even before like I heard never. And that was like a light bulb moment for me, right? And the truth is, like, gravity, like, manifesting is happening 24/7. We are constantly manifesting, right? So it's not like you, if you are have been like following law of attraction all this while, it doesn't mean you are doing anything wrong. It's just that you may just need a little bit of perspective shifts if you are exploring law of assumption for sure. So what is the difference? Like, okay, to give you guys an analogy, right? I always see, if law of attraction is like the light, right? Law of assumption is like laser, right? It simplifies everything, it removes all the unwanted bits, right? It really just like laser focus, right? It just like gives you clarity and focus. Like, that's how I see law of assumption and law of attraction. If law of attraction is the light, it's everywhere, it's going in all different directions. Law of assumption is literally like laser, right? And there are some key differences to law of attraction and law of assumption. The first one being, the whole idea of universe and what it is, right? And it's not really explicitly stated. Keep in mind, these are my observations, and these may differ from what your opinions may be, but these are just my observations, right? So with the universe, I always notice that the law of attraction side always seem to be implying that the universe is always outside of you, and it's like an entity that looks down on you, and even going as far as to like suggest or imply in some cases that you are going through trials and tribulations, in an effort to learn a lesson so that you may become a better person, and so on and so forth, right? And I think, like, even in The Secret, like, there's a like the hero's journey and so on, like the spin-offs from that book, right? So like, essentially, that's one of the key differences that I've noticed in comparison with law of assumption, where the God is always within us, the God being the wonderful human imagination, as Neville would call it, right? And that was like a clear distinction, like right from the start, right? And that was something that I seem to lean more towards law of assumption more. And it made sense to me, right? Because where does this ability to imagine come from, right? And Neville, always says it's God, right? And I really, really love that kind of explanation. And because I was someone who was always able to visualize more, and I think that's why, like, one of the reasons I kind of lean more into law of assumption. So there may be a little bit of biasness here, if I'm being really honest, but it really kind of resonated with me more on that front, right? So that's one of the main differences, is that the universe is outside for um, law of attraction, and the universe, or the God, is within you for law of assumption. And what it really does is it really, helps you empower you. Like when I found out, through law of assumption that the universe is within you and it's your wonderful human imagination, it kind of feels very empowering. Like, you are God, right? And that, you can, achieve whatever you desire. Whereas with law of attraction, it's always like it's on the outside, and sure, God is within you. I've heard people say that in law of attraction too, but it's not emphasized that way, right? And I feel like it's always on the universe is always on the outside, and it's something that you have to like allow this entity to sort of guide you, right? And that was like sort of like the crux of it. And so law of assumption kind of really resonated with me, with that aspect that it is within me, that I can create my reality. And I'm not asking someone, right? That's one of the more important things, is that I'm not asking someone. In law of assumption, in law of attraction, you are asking the universe, right? So that's something that really kind of made a clear distinction for me. It was really empowering when I first heard that. It was like, the accountability falls on me more than anything else. It's always me. And that is both, like empowering and terrifying at the same time. But more empowering for me, because I know that, okay, I can create whatever I desire regardless of whatever I'm facing right now. So that was really something that I feel like was a key distinction between law of assumption and law of attraction. The second one is that it really simplifies everything. Like the one thing that I really noticed with law of attraction is that they really talk about feeling positive, right? They really kind of emphasize that. When I talk about affirmations, one question that I get over like a billion times is that, do I have to believe my affirmations? Do I have to feel good about it? And so on, right? All of these assumptions really come from the law of attraction side of things, right? So in law of attraction, we always kind of emphasize the idea of like feeling good, being in a high vibrational state, and so on. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think that's necessary to manifest something, because even in my experience, I've noticed that I don't really have to like feel good all the time. I mean, having that knowingness within you that your desires are done deal may comfort you, but that doesn't mean I'm like happy 24/7 or excited 24/7. Like if you have that sense of knowingness that the Amazon package is yours, you're not going to be excited 24/7, right? You will waver, like through like neutral emotions, and like sometimes you may feel like not so favorable, but like your dominant thought is that, okay, it's coming, it's already mine, I know, so you're going by your day kind of thing, right? So but you will still get your Amazon package at the end of the day. And that's how I see manifesting with law of assumption is, you don't have to like feel good all the time per se. It's more about that sense of knowingness, right? And that knowingness doesn't really come with feeling good all the time. It's not like related, right? You can have the sense of knowingness and not feel excited and happy like 24/7, right? That's not to say like feeling happy and excited 24/7 is something that's not you shouldn't aim for. I mean, feeling happy is great, feeling bliss and peace and all that kind of stuff is good. But what it does is that when you place an expectation on people that, okay, hey, you have to do this in order to manifest, is that it really puts pressure on people. It really, really puts pressure on people, and they really feel like they are doing something wrong, especially when they are like in a very like unfavorable state of mind, and they want to manifest something, and then they are like, okay, how do I feel good? And they really put so much pressure on themselves, and I feel like that's completely unnecessary. And it's really coming from the law of attraction side, right? Because the law of attraction is what kind of emphasizes the whole feeling good and so on, right? And the third difference I see is how both philosophies kind of interpret action, right? And I feel like this is the main one, and this is really interesting, because when I started to like kind of first look into law of attraction, right? One thing that always comes up is, of course, inspired action. right? You will be inspired to do something. The universe will nudge you to do something, and that's not wrong per se. And I'm not mocking that kind of philosophy. I definitely do understand like where they're coming from, and there's definitely, I think, like precedence to it for sure. In the sense that when you are thinking favorably, right? Like when you, let's say, you're manifesting a red colored car, for example, right? Your mind will start to notice everything red, and in the process you may find an idea, or you may get an idea, and you may go and take the necessary steps, right? And one thing leads to another, and you get your desire, right? So, but that action is consciously done by you in law of attraction, right? But in law of assumption, this action, right, is done by you still, but it's done so in an unconscious way. Like you will not know that these actions are what is leading to the fulfillment of your desire until thereafter, once you have achieved your desire, right? Until you look back and realize, oh, okay, so these are the things that kind of led to what I wanted. I didn't know it then, but I know it now, right? So that's the kind of approach law of assumption takes compared to like law of attraction, if you will. And that's something that I've noticed like being a very key difference when it comes to law of attraction and law of assumption. Action is very conscious, in law of attraction, and a lot of action that's being done in law of assumption is unconscious. Like you are not even aware that this is leading you to the fulfillment of your desire, and this is what we say a bridge of incidents, right? A series of events will unfold, and you will be taken through a series of events, and you will not realize that these are the events that are leading you to the fulfillment of your desire until thereafter, right? That is how I perceive the actions in law of assumption. And with the law of attraction, again, like it's like inspired action. You will think favorably, and you will start doing something that makes you feel good, and that's the compass, that's the kind of anchor, right? If it feels good, do it. But the thing is, like a lot of people, I guess, can't find what feels good. They can't use that feeling as a compass, right, to kind of direct them, because a lot of people sometimes when they are manifesting, they are in a very unfavorable state of mind, and they are so overwhelmed by sadness or grief or depression or anger and so on and so forth, that they can't get themselves to feel otherwise, right? And when you come at it from a place of, okay, use your your compass is actually literally feeling good, then that kind of becomes an issue for people. I feel like deep down, like that's kind of like the core issue with like law of attraction, or one of the issues, I would say. Again, not that it's inaccurate philosophy or anything like that. I think like at the end of the day, law of attraction and law of assumption do have a lot of similarities, but at the really, like these key differences, the three that I mentioned, really like kind of play a huge role in that, kind of like simplifying it for people, right? So with action, I really kind of resonated with law of assumption more, just because of the fact that I really when even like hearing like Neville's Barbados story, right, I really realized like, okay, there was nothing he could really have done for him to get from New York to Barbados, right? All he had to do is just go by his life and assume the best, and the bridge of incidents will take him through those series of events. His brother sent him a ticket, and like he went there to the company and so on and so forth, and things happened, right? And even with like the story of how he manifested his wife, right? He was just assuming that his future wife was in the same room as him, but in a separate bed. And the wife that he was currently married to, who he wanted a divorce from, came into town, stole something, went on trial. He did those. He actually spoke on behalf of her, and all those things happened, right? So like these are things that he didn't couldn't really have. There was no way like Neville could have had an have done those things under the inspired action context, right? Like that's my point here, right? There's no way he could have anticipated a lot of those things, right? And that's the thing, like in law of assumption, there's this idea that when you start assuming something, the whole universe kind of like shifts all the elements and everything and puts you through that bridge of incidents right from the start. Your only job literally is to assume the best, assume that it's already done, and hold on to that assumption as you go through this ride. That's it, right? Compared to law of attraction, where you have to be aware of your thoughts, you have to also take inspired action, and so on and so forth, right? And also feel good on top of that. So it really kind of complicates the entire process, whereas I feel like law of assumption really kind of simplifies it. So yeah, so these are what I feel are the differences between law of attraction and law of assumption. Guys, we have come to this end of this video. If this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like. And if you guys have any questions, or if you have any things to add on, be sure to drop a comment down below as well. Turn on the bell notification so that you guys will know when I upload a new video every single week. Be sure to subscribe, as it goes a long way. You guys have been very supportive thus far, and I have so much gratitude and love for all of you guys. Thank you so much. Stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.